Hi, it's Grammy from Grammy and Grandpa Read, and today I have a book for you called Little Miss Helpful by Roger Hargreaves. That said, help! Little Miss Helpful was one of those people who loved to help other people, but who ended up helping nobody. Do you know what I mean? For instance, like the time when one of Mr. Tall's shoelaces came undone. Now, if you're as tall as Mr. Tall, trying to tie your shoelaces isn't the easiest thing in the world, as you can imagine. Let me help, cried Little Miss Helpful, rushing to help him. Then somehow she managed to tie Mr. Tall's shoelaces together and he fell over. And if you're as tall as Mr. Tall, falling over hurts. Bang! Ouch! He said, rubbing his head. Help me up, let me help, cried Little Miss Helpful, and rushed off to get some bandages and rushed back and stuck them on Mr. Tall over his mouth. He said. He was trying to say, take them off, but that's rather difficult to do with bandages stuck over your mouth. Little Miss Helpful looked at him with concern. Let me help, she cried, and ripped the bandages off his mouth. Ouch, he cried. That hurt. Would you like me to get you some cream for your sore mouth? She said anxiously. No, he groaned. Go away. Now, do you know what that means? What I mean about people like Little Miss Helpful who helps nobody? Last year in April, I think it was, Mr. Happy woke up feeling ill. The doctor had to be called, and he came by to Mr. Happy's house, which was on the hill by the lake. Oh dear, said the doctor when he saw Mr. Happy. Measles. Mr. Happy's face fell. Now, you're to stay tucked nice and warm in bed and get lots of rest and take this medicine 3 times a day, said the doctor, and left. Mr. Happy settled down to sleep. He had just fallen asleep when there was a loud knock on his front door. Oh dear, groaned Mr. Happy, and he staggered off to open it. You can guess who it was, can't you? I've come to help, she cried. But protested Mr. Happy. But nothing, cried Little Miss Helpful. Now off to bed with you while I do some things around here. She looked around. This place needs a good cleaning, she said. Mr. Happy had just fallen asleep again when Miss Helpful poked her head around his bedroom door. Have you got a scrub brush? She asked. Poor Mr. Happy had to get up and show her where it was. And then he went back to bed to sleep. Little Miss Helpful stepped back in to admire the kitchen floor she had just scrubbed and slipped on the soap and fell head over heels and got her head stuck in the bucket. And because she couldn't see where she was going, walked into a shelf full of saucepans, which fell all over the floor with a terrible clatter. And because she couldn't see where she was going, Little Miss Helpful stepped in one of the saucepans and got stuck on her foot. And because she had to hop, she fell over against the refrigerator door, which flew open and everything fell out all over Miss Helpful. Poor Mr. Happy awoke with a start from the terrible commotion. He groaned, got out of bed, went to the kitchen, and opened the door. He couldn't believe his eyes. There in the middle of a pile of broken eggs, a scrub brush, a rolling saucepan, a lot of water, and spilt milk, splattered butter, bent saucepan lids, and a piece of soap, sat Little Miss Helpful. With a bucket on her head and a saucepan on her foot. Help! Came a voice from inside the bucket. Mr. Happy grabbed the bucket and pulled as hard as he could, and he pulled and pulled. bucket came off the top of Miss Helpful's head like a cork off a bottle. Mr. Happy shot backwards like a bullet from a gun. Crash! He went flying into the kitchen door. He shot across the garden and straight through the garden hedge. He rolled down the hilly field behind his garden, faster, faster, and splash! He ended up in the lake with the bucket in his hand, and a little figure with a saucepan on its foot came running, half hopping, half running out of Mr. Happy's house. "Let me help," she cried. Oh dear, it sounds like we don't really want help from Little Miss Helpful, right? I hope you like this book, and please subscribe to our channel and like the video.